Hello to our Connect Health community, and welcome to our part two of our two-part series. And we're talking about how to boost our immune system using nutrition. In our previous video, we chatted with Elena, health coach and nutritionist, and Dr. Heidi Lescanec, on the foods to incorporate into your diet and the food groups to avoid. In today's video, we're going to chat a little bit more on how. Why is it the way you eat as important as what you eat? And isn't the food going to get all processed the same anyways?
Yeah, basically it goes back again to the nervous system, right? Because if you're engaged in the stress response, your body's not optimized to digest and absorb the nutrients from the foods that you're eating. So in general, I almost feel like with patients and clients, I need to talk about the how first, and then we can talk about, okay, what are we going to be eating for maximum nutrition? Because I think in general, people think about nutrition as, okay, what am I eating, right? Am I eating enough vegetables? Am I eating enough, nutrient-dense foods? But the truth is, for a lot of people, their lifestyle is not optimized for thorough digestion and absorption and extraction of all that goodness, from the food. And I have this little book. I don't know if you guys ever heard of this book before, How to Eat. It's upside down, but it's by Thich Nhat Hanh. Did I say that correctly?
Yes.
Okay. So he has several little passages on, eating slowly and, down-regulating the stress response. But this one I want to read this one. Chew your food, not your worries. Sometimes we eat, but we aren't thinking of our food. We're thinking of the past or the future, or mulling over some worry or anxiety again and again. So stop thinking about your business, about the office, or about anything that isn't happening right now. Don't chew your worries, your fear, or your anger. If you chew your planning and your anxiety, it's difficult to feel grateful for each piece of food. Just chew your food.
Wow, definitely going to get this book now that I have the spare time.
Yeah, that was a great passage. And, this is just a really good topic for us because I find that, a lot of people are overwhelmed trying to sort out what are the best foods for their health. Many people come in to see me seeking weight loss or improved digestion or better energy. And they're asking the question of, what particular foods do I need to eat? What do I need to avoid? Or, what particular diet do I need to
what?
be
Always the what, right?
Yeah, does it need to be keto, paleo, vegan? What do I need to meet my goals? And, the focus being on choosing the right food isn't necessarily wrong, but, just as important as what you eat is actually the how you eat.
Yeah, and, I also agree. I think it's just as important, right? At the top, right? Both. Yeah.
Yeah, to actually benefit from all your healthy diet choices, like the time you put into, preparing foods or purchasing these days, it's no small thing. So to actually benefit from those healthy choices, especially like the ones we talked about in our last video, we need to actually support our body's ability to break those foods down, right? And so this is great, super timely.
Awesome. So what are your guys' two top tips to getting better digestion and absorption from nutrients from our food?
Yeah, I would say my two top tips. Number one would be to actually sit down somewhere to eat. And I know I'm saying this, but I'm also not that good at it sometimes. And I have to consciously say, okay, now it's time to eat. Sit down. It's a signal to your body to stop and down-regulate your nervous system so it can focus on that food, the digestion, the absorption of nutrients. And
Heidi,
number two, I guess sorry. I forgot number two. That's okay. So number two is silence. So as much as you can, just turn off all the electronics around, all the moving parts, and try to be as quiet as you can. I know sometimes that's hard, especially if you have kids around. But even with kids, you could still, kind of train them to, when it's time to eat, it's time to turn everything off and focus on the eating. act, right? And that's also the silence is like very soothing to the nervous system. It kind of helps you to calm down a bit, focus on what's in front of you.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that, Elena. One thing I find that is really neat that you bring up the idea of silence is that in that time, we could have a pause and, have a moment of gratitude, whether it's like a prayer or just being thankful to, the farmers that grew the food, the truckers. We're hearing a lot about the energy that the truckers are having to put into getting deliveries made and the compromises they're making to do that. And the grocery store, like the clerks and all the produce, all the people working, that are still hustling around and working hard while many of us are at home. So having a moment of thanks is what we could do in that pause time. It's pretty rare that we have that silence and we take those minutes.
I really love that. So the silence with the gratitude and pausing.
Yeah. And just, feeling grateful for the choices that we have. Many of us in Canada, I think we have so many options at our fingertips.
Right. Yeah.
We are very, very blessed. Very,
Okay. That brings me to what a couple of my other tips are. Number one, I would say switching gears into rest and digest mode. Just like Elena was talking about the importance of that nervous system being in relaxation. Specifically, I think we have to get out of that high-speed train track. And so this means things like no multitasking on your phone, no eating on the go. The reason being, all these activities of being productive, of multitasking, tell our alert nervous system that it's in that fight or flight mode, that we're operating in that high-speed train track. And when our body's in that fight or flight, it's streamlining its resources to get us out of danger. And so it turns off what's not necessary for minute-to-minute survival. So it's turning off our digestive system. And the consequence of that is we're not making our digestive juices and enzymes that are necessary to break down that food we're eating. So what we want to do to switch gears is to slow down. So, take a pause, inhale, you've got that bowl of chili or soup. So smelling the smells, like those body sensations, put us into that more, rest and digest parasympathetic mode of our nervous system. Taking a few deep belly breaths, like doing some diaphragmatic breathing, helps to reset. If we were in fight or flight, we were shallow breathing. Now, if we have the luxury of taking deep belly breaths, our body knows, well, I'm not being chased by a bear in the wilderness. I can put, energy into making my digestive juices.
That's so good. It's like so the breaths could serve as a transition from doing to.
Yeah, it's like a reset. It's like pressing the reset button on any electronic device and it just restarts it. It just says, oh yeah, I was overwhelmed. I had the rainbow wheel of death because I had too many pages open or I was all clogged up. And now I'm going to reorient and go into the slow speed here. And so another tip is chewing really well. So you could try putting, a fork down between bitefuls. Actually, I think Thich Nhat Hanh said that about chewing. So technically, like taking your, tool and putting it down. And that will force you, like that hand is not picking up that spoon or that fork to shovel in like the next, biteful. It's like you're focusing. Yeah. No, because aren't we all multitasking, trying to be productive all the time?
Right.
And so this is where it does not serve us well, right? It is not helpful to like get that other mouthful going while you're still chewing that last one. So putting the fork down, the more you chew, the less work for your stomach. So number one, switching gears. And then number two, don't mix drinking with eating. This is one really common mistake that I think many of us make is the habit of drinking water with our meals.
Dilutes everything, right?
I do this every day. So why is this a problem?
Well, the water and other fluids, like other rehydrating beverages, they will dilute the hydrochloric acid in your stomach, which is critical for starting that breakdown of food.
Yeah.
So this acid, or hydrochloric acid, is the key trigger for sending messages to our gallbladder, which makes bile, and our pancreas that makes digestive enzymes. In Chinese medicine, they call this hydrochloric acid is our stomach fire. And so just like you wouldn't want to pour water on a fire if you intended to transform, wood into heat, you want to transform food into fuel. So you're not pouring water on that, right?
That's awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
That's such a good way of explaining that.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
It's helpful.
Yeah.
I really find, over time, if people make this mistake of drinking water with their meals, it leads to, bloating, gas, heartburn, IBS, because you're just not breaking down that food. It's sitting there in the stomach with all that water, all that liquid.
And therefore not absorbing, right? The nutrients you're supposed to absorb. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes total sense. Like I said, that's something I do every day. And I feel like those are symptoms I feel regularly. So that totally makes sense. But in the same sense, aren't we supposed to be drinking more water?
Yes, absolutely. A lot of people do kind of get all confused or upset about me saying don't drink water at your meals because they're like, I'm trying to do everything right. I'm eating my good, healthy, salad with salmon.
Drinking water, right?
And I'm getting my 8 glasses of water in. The only thing you want to know is that you just separate those two things, right? So rehydration and digestion just need to be separate. Mm-hmm. So you want to have just enough to like cleanse your palate, take your medicines you have to take with your meals, with foods you're eating. But just wait, to do the rehydration. So you don't want to be drinking whole glasses of water with ice at your mealtime. You want to have maybe a half an hour on either side. And so all through the day is when you should be really rehydrating. Like you're, in your car, you're waiting at a stoplight, you're on a walk, at your computer, writing emails, watching videos like this. That's a great time to rehydrate so that you're just not mixing it, drinking with eating.
That's awesome.
Oh, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And I feel like it took a lot more from today's video than I did from part 1, especially because I think this is the part where people don't know, like there's so much information and we know what's healthy and we know what's good for you, but there's ways to do it, right? And ways to eat and how we eat. So thank you so much, guys, for providing us with all this awesome information.
Yeah, and I think what you mean too, Manpreet, is the connection of the nervous system with what you're eating, right?
Yeah.
I think, is that what you feel kind of make sense more?
Yeah, totally. So that all of it kind of just like clicked for me, especially when you made that connection between the stomach being fire and, the water diluting, all that kind of stuff. That totally makes sense to me as to why you wouldn't do that. And, my mom used to always, when we were younger, never give us water with our food because she said it's bad for you. And I just thought it was because mom said no,
Your mom knew it.
Well, so many old school traditional concepts of health and wellness are the things that are functional medicine now, that everyone's talking about as if it's some new age, new concept, but it's actually old wisdom that but it's all of our restaurants are giving us ice water, right? They're just constantly filling us up with ice water.
Yeah. And I really love, like, the more you chew, the less work your stomach has to do. Oh my gosh. I'm totally going to use that with my patients. I love that, Heidi.
Awesome.
Yeah, because it's true.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I personally chew a little bit too fast. I have to kind of, be conscious of that fact that I'm chewing. Yeah.
I have to remind myself all the time. I think this is why it's my favorite thing to talk about. And I talk about it almost every single new visit I have. It's because I need the reminders as much as anyone, especially now, especially if we're listening to the news and we're hearing updates all the time. We're in that fight or flight and we need to turn it off, get in the rest and digest more, right?
Well, this was an amazing video. Thank you guys so much for your time again. So this has been great. We will be putting out another video next week, so stay tuned for that. But I just, again, wanted to let our viewers know, whoever's watching this video, that we are here for you guys. If you guys have any questions, comments, or suggestions on our next videos, leave comments. You can contact our clinic. Our phone number and our email and stuff is all listed on our social media, Instagram and Facebook, and our website is www.connecthealthcare.ca. And then Dr. Heidi Lescanec also has a website where she posts lot of the blog posts and recipes she's talked about in previous visits. It's Dr. So Dr. HeidiLescanec.com, which I'm going to link in our video below. So not to worry about that. Again, I just want to say thank you guys, and we'll be signing off on our video today. So we'll say bye for now.
Ciao, ciao.
Ciao, ciao.
Bye.
Bye, guys.